and welcome to Basildon Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Simon Rogers, and Simon is the CEO of Basildon Financial LLC. Simon, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Cynthia. I'm great. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for asking. I always look forward to our time together in the studio because you're delivering such timely information right now about how to plan for retirement and retire confidently, if you will.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in the past, that a lot of people perhaps in the viewing audience, even today, do not have a true plan for retirement. Simon, why do you think that is?
It's something that's baffled me. I mean, we plan for vacations, for 2 weeks, but we don't plan for 25, 30-year retirement, which is the longest vacation. So, it's arguably the most important vacation to plan for.
Sure.
But I urge everybody, to get people to at least sit down with somebody. Hopefully our firm, at our firm, we do complimentary initial meetings and complimentary follow-up meetings, and we'll do a complimentary financial plan just so you can see what it's actually like,
Sure.
See what a plan can do for you, see how crystal clear it can make things and take the worry away and bring the peace of mind in.
I can only imagine that when people first walk in, they're nervous, they're apprehensive, they're anxious, if you will, but how do they feel after you design that plan for them? Is it a sigh of relief?
Yeah, I sense that, at least. It's if we have a husband and wife come in, they do sometimes. We actually work a lot on referral. Most of our new clients are referrals. So they kind of, somebody they know well has vouched for us. So they kind of come in a little already kind of, feeling good about us. But, they go through the planning process, and in that process, I often ask them questions they've never even thought about, because that's my job.
Yeah.
Is to make sure, hey, let's think this through. And, sometimes those questions kind of make them uncomfortable because they're like, well, I don't know. And they kind of look at each other and, and they kind of work out an answer for me. And then, but the second meeting where we're actually presenting the plan, and we do ours, the work I do and we perform for our clients is very complicated, incredibly complicated. It's why I love it. But I understand that unless you're in my business and you have like a mind that I have that just loves complicated stuff, you're not going to digest it the same way. So we take it, and the full plan that we have for a client is on one sheet, and within 5 minutes I can explain it to them.
Wow.
And when I see that it click in their heads, and then they're like, oh. And then there's a pause, and then a few questions I hope come. I love questions. I invite questions. Well, what about this? What about that? And what they don't know is everything on that one sheet, everything beneath it, I've already thought through a million times, and there's all kinds of answers that we could talk literally probably for a week about that one sheet. So they ask the questions, I answer them, and there is a sense of relief that how easy it is, and how simple it is for them to understand, and kind of worry-free it is. And our tagline is the heart of financial security, and that's what we try to live up to every day with our clients, day in and day out, is to, my goal is to take all the financial worry away from them. Sure. So that they can sleep well at night and do what's really important, because this money's not that important. It's what we do with the money. It's, visiting our grandkids or taking that trip or helping somebody out that's less advantaged than us. It's what the money can do for us. So
absolutely. The heart of financial security. So let me ask you, why do you have a passion for helping others, Simon? In case someone's watching for the very first time this week.
Why do I have I don't know. I mean, I've never had that question. I've always identified.
Comes from the heart, I can tell.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, what immediately thought when you're halfway through that question is like, I was born this way. It wasn't like a decision. But I've always even thought, thinking back to when I was in grade school, like 4th, 5th grade, I always gravitated towards the kids that got picked on, the kids that nobody else would be friends with. And my heart went out to them. I felt bad for them, and they're good people. Most of them are like better than the other people,
oh my gosh, most definitely, yes.
Yeah, so it's like I always, made friends with them. It was in a sense of like, I always have that mentality, let me help somebody out. Like, let me do something for somebody.
And that is a wonderful, beautiful gift that you can give your clients, most definitely. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit today about annuities. I know we're kind of shifting gears a little bit from our prior conversation, but a lot of annuities, Simon, they have a negative stereotype. In your opinion, why is that?
I think there's been some hit pieces on them. I think in some cases it's justified, and I can get into some details on that. In most cases, it's absolutely not. So let me just back up a little bit and just cover what an annuity is, because I find that most people that come into our office don't really understand them. And when they do, then they're like, oh, well, maybe I want one of those, you know?
Okay.
So, I always put it in this perspective. I give an analogy that life insurance we get when we're younger in case we die prematurely. It's that backstop, it's that protection for us and our family. An annuity is the only product out there that's designed to guarantee you to have lifetime income.
Okay.
And no other product can do that. And when you do all the studies and read the studies, it says, which I find comical, but what is the number one concern in retirement is running out of income, right?
Absolutely.
I kind of laugh at that because I'm like, isn't that everybody's like, no matter what age you are, right?
That's true.
It's not exclusive to retirement, but I think it's more of a concern. It's a heightened concern because they don't want to go back to work.
Sure.
And maybe in some cases they can't go back to work because of health issues. So, the basics of an annuity is you give a chunk of money to an insurance company that is well-versed at mitigating risk. And in exchange for that, they guarantee a payment for you for life, no matter how long you live. So that money could run out, but that payment continues. And so it's the only account like that. And the only setup you can have. And so it protects against longevity risk. In case I lived longer than I thought I'd be dead by 87, and I'm 92, and I'm 5 years past my expiration date, and I didn't plan financially for this.
Right.
That can solve that problem.
Okay.
So, and then you get into the weeds, and there's all kinds of bells and whistles and different features and different types of annuities.
I definitely want to talk to you about the different types of annuities, but I do want to open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. So let's go ahead, do that first, then when we come back, I want to dive in a little bit further into annuities.
Great.
Okay, sound good? To the viewers at home, the phone lines are now open. The number to call is 877-441-4901. What Simon is offering you today is a complimentary financial plan review. Let him take a look at where you currently are on your path of retirement. Is it the right plan for you, or do you need to have the plan designed from scratch? Either way, Simon can help you as you plan for your retirement years. Again, the number to call is 877-441-4901. We only have 10 complimentary consultations available this week, so please don't miss the opportunity to gain one of the consultations. 877-441-4901. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to have more questions about annuities, and you're not going to want to miss the answers. Please stay tuned.
Both my parents started off as university professors in England, so I think teaching's in my blood. What we do is very complicated, but we lay it out in a way that is very easy to understand.
It's just a matter of being able to convey the information that they need most to make the best decision for them.
You don't have to do what we do for a living to take a look at our plan and within a couple minutes totally grasp it. When you're teaching, you're really helping somebody learn. So I have a genuine love and desire and kind of a need really to help people. I think that comes from my heart. In England, you name your house, like we name our dog. Every house has a name. And the house that my father was born at is my grandmother's house, and the name of her house was Basildon. Whenever I was over there, I felt safe. and I felt loved, and I felt taken care of, and I felt everything was okay. I strive to have our clients feel that same way.
Should something devastating happen, the last thing that they need to think about is, am I covered? Am I secure? How is this going to affect me financially? I think they need to focus on being well and spending time with the ones that they love.
They feel secure in that they can depend on us to do what we say we're going to do to help them make the decisions that they need to make.
And welcome back to Basildon Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Simon Rogers. And Simon is CEO of Basildon Financial LLC. Simon, I love going to the commercial break and watching the phone lines light up. I know you can't see them because you're looking in the other direction, but it shows that there's just so much excitement and interest. Everyone wants to gain that consultation with you so they can plan for retirement, quite honestly.
Yeah. It's great to see.
It really is. It really is. Let's talk a little bit more about the different types of annuities, if we could, because I know that there are several, and people in the viewing audience might be wondering, gosh, I wonder what ours is. So let's talk about the different ones.
Yeah, sure. There was, I guess, for many years, and by the way, they've been around for decades and decades and decades, many, many years. So there's a fixed annuity, which is like a CD. You can think of it as a CD. It's a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. It's a time period, just like a CD, and it gives you a fixed interest rate. Okay. No bells and whistles usually. That's kind of plain vanilla. And incidentally, what we've seen over the years, and people are frustrated with their CD returns, and I don't blame them. Typically, the annuities generally run a little bit better than the CD rates. Okay. So in fact, I just had a client last week move a nice CD into an annuity because he wanted a better rate. Okay. And that was the place he could find one. On the other end of this risk spectrum, we have variable annuities, and where this is fixed and this is safe, this is variable and this is not as safe. Variable meaning it can vary in value, it can go up and down. Okay. And so what the money in there is technically invested in the stock market, usually in mutual funds within the annuity. So there is some risk to that. And then we have a third category in the middle, which, this is the same thing happened in the life insurance industry, where we had term life insurance really cheap, and we had whole life, which is very expensive. And then the consumer needed something in the middle. And so they came out with universal life, which was a permanent insurance in theory at a lower price than whole life, the Cadillac. So they did that in the annuity industry in the 90s and came out with an indexed annuity, or a fixed indexed annuity. Okay. And basically the money here is safe, just like the fixed annuity. You can't lose money like you can in the variable, but they've tagged the gains of the contract not to an interest rate, but to an indice in the stock market. Now I want to be clear, your money's not in the stock market, it's not at risk. Okay. But if the market goes up, you get to ride along with some of those gains and then lock in those gains, and you can't go down from there. So it's a nice way to kind of get a better rate than the fixed rate, but not have the risk of a variable. Okay. In your opinion, is there one that fits someone more than the rest? I mean, if someone asked you that question, what is the right annuity for me? How do you help determine that? Yeah, wow, that's a great question. We do custom planning. Everybody's different. I can have two clients, identical assets, identical family, but they have different goals. So, what comes out of my mouth for each of those sets of clients are different. Okay. I don't feel, so I'm going to have to talk in very general terms. I wouldn't say an annuity is for a younger person. I think it's more probably the category 50 and up. Okay. Obviously we talked about the lifetime payouts that they can offer, but it can also be in deferral and like a growth vehicle. The fixed and the fixed index are going to grow typically less aggressively than the stock market. The problem I have, and a lot in our industry have with the variable annuities, is there can be a lot of fees. You know, it can grow with the stock market, but you've got insurance company fees and investment like mutual fund fees. And I've seen them, you know, north of 4% in fees.
Wow.
So if the stock market does 10%, you're getting 6.
Wow.
And
okay.
you know, if the stock market goes down 10, you're going down 14.
Wow.
So, you know, generally speaking, I feel there's a better, you know, vehicle than a variable annuity. But you know, they do, one thing I didn't mention was an annuity can put a tax-deferred wrapper around it. So all the growth within the annuity each year doesn't show up on your tax return. So it can grow tax-deferred.
Okay.
And that is a definite advantage for some people.
Okay.
You know, but when you do take it out eventually, it's kind of like your IRA account. You know, Uncle Sam's there waiting for you at the door.
Right.
So, you know, it really depends on the person.
Okay.
And I would say that not, you know, everybody in retirement doesn't need an annuity.
Okay.
You know, I've got clients that don't need them at all.
Okay.
You know? So it's just like anything else. It's whether it's the right tool for the right job.
Sure. Let me ask you, because we had the commercial on that was an actor who said he hated annuities, and you should too. So which one do you think he was talking about if you had to guess? All of them?
I would say the variable. Yeah. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a fan, and a lot of my industry, my cohorts are not fans of the variable. It's because of the fees. You know, it just, you can't get it. You're taking risk, and then you're not getting the return commensurate with that risk. So, you know, there's better, we think, better ways to handle it than that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I know we're talking about annuities, but we've also had a lot of questions come up about bonds. What is your opinion on bonds, and should a person's portfolio be allocated a certain percentage to bonds?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, bonds have been just really for years now, we've had a hard time getting a good return on a bond because the yields are so low. So, you know, that's where, you know, you maybe trade out tools for a period of time where bond rates are so low, maybe in the 2-3% range, and that fixed index annuity I mentioned might be in a 4 or 5% range. So, you know, where we're used to bonds being. So that you may trade that tool out for a few years, and then when bond rates come back up, you get out of the annuity and back into the bonds. Okay. But, you know, it's the same answer. It's like every client is different. So I don't, you know, whether somebody needs bonds or not, or needs annuity or not, is strictly up to what they're trying to achieve.
What their plan is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Simon, this is the perfect time for us to go ahead and reopen the phone lines to the viewers at home. Okay. Do you agree?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. To the viewers at home, the phone lines are once again now open. That number to call is 877-441-4901. If you would like to have Simon take a look at what types of annuities you currently have and is it the right one for you, he's offering you a complimentary consultation. Again, there's only 10 spots available this week, so please call 877-441-4901. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, I have more questions for Simon on how to plan your perfect retirement. Please stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to Basildon Retire Well TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Simon Rogers, and Simon is CEO of Basildon Financial LLC. Simon, something very important that we should talk about, obviously, would be if someone is in the viewing audience today and they're just watching for the very first time, why is it important for someone to work with a licensed fiduciary, if you will?
Oh, great question. Yeah, that's been a lot in the press in the last few years. A licensed fiduciary, which I am, means that I must, by regulatory rules, put the client's interests first.
Okay.
I cannot put mine in front of the client. I have to do what's right for the client. It's very black and white. I can't have any conflicts of interest. So, in my opinion, with all the advisors out there, that is, in my opinion, the best advisor to work with, who's going to be held to that standard of being a fiduciary, of putting the client's needs first and in a very black and white manner.
Okay. It's such an important thing that you offer, because obviously you're giving the same advice to your clients as you would give to your loved ones, your family members, and that is such peace of mind for anyone who is thinking about calling in and thinking about taking advantage of the complimentary consultation. With that being said, Simon, what does it feel like when someone first comes into the office to meet with you?
What is their experience like, you mean?
Yeah, definitely. Both ways.
Yeah. I mean, I think in both, for us and them, we're both getting to know each other,
sure.
which is nice. And, I like some chit-chat, kind of get small talk, get to know somebody, did you grow up in the area, all that kind of stuff. What did you do? And then, if it's a first, full-blown consultation where they're looking to get a financial plan, then we have a whole series of questions we walk them through.
Okay.
And often the clients, it's not uncommon for the clients to be asked one of my questions and then not really know the answer because they've never thought about it before.
Sure.
And so we go through that whole process. Occasionally I'll get a client, why do you need to know that? And they think I'm being nosy. And and there's always a reason. I'm not into your personal business. I really don't need to know, but I do have there's situations where a client one time said, we have two sons and we can leave one money and we can't leave the other one money. And I asked why, and he had a heroin problem. He's now clean and doing great. So, they don't realize I need to know things like that.
Sure.
Because you don't want to leave. I would give them totally different advice if I knew that there was a child in that household that was struggling with drugs. And there's ways we can get them money in their estate plan,
sure, without
hurting them. But we'll go through a series of questions, and it takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on how many tangents we go off on, and how much how much we're talking about, and and then they sit and wait, and it's they kind of leave, and it's usually about a week for us to put a plan together for them.
Okay.
And when they come back in, there's the old GJO expression in the computer industry: garbage in, garbage out. So.
Okay.
I have consolidated everything they told me, all the financial data, but all the important questions of risk tolerance and what they want to do in retirement and their budget and what their activities are and all that kind of stuff. In the second meeting, we sit down and we review all that, because on the table there is a plan that's based on all those answers, and I need to make sure that I heard them correctly the week prior and that I understood everything the way they wanted it. And that in the meantime, since we've last seen them, that they haven't thought of something else, or I forgot to add this, or blah, blah, blah. Because this plan over here is based off all that data. And so I go through that second meeting in the beginning and confirm all that data. And as long as, and it's rare that we have something amiss.
Okay.
And if that's all good, it also refreshes their memory as to why they came to see us, you know, and
yes.
like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I wanted to talk to you. And then we get into the plan, and the plan we put together, you know, it's all on one page, and within 5 minutes, probably less, I can explain it to them, and they've got it. They've totally digested it in 5 minutes. So it's not this big, I mean, I've seen, and I've had software I've used over the years of my career that spits out this 40, 50 page report, and you know, and it's wonderful, but it's like, you know, what I realized over time was people just want the bottom line.
Sure.
And just make it simple. And then if I got questions, I'll ask you the questions, and we can get into the weeds, and I love that kind of stuff. So I love questions, but I love getting into the analytics of everything. And I can explain everything on that one page, but most people, it just like bottom line it for me, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it's one page is so simple. It's so easy to keep track of as well.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yep. For the clients that are in the viewing audience today, and let's just say, Simon, they're 5 years away from retirement, what key advice can you give them today? What should they be thinking about?
If they haven't met with an advisor like us, I would do that. I would because you can think of it this way, and you know, you've run the football 95 yards down, you know,
right.
You got 5 more yards to go. You just want to get across. You want to make it fancy, you know, just get across and put the points on the board. But you know, you don't want to blow things those last few years.
Sure.
So it may be time to dial back risk. It may be time to do things that you maybe only have an opportunity to do at that point in time. And you know, you don't want to like retire and then go to a financial advisor, get a plan, and then realize I don't have enough to do what I want to do and go back to work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
definitely. You
look
want to
before
go
you
back
leap.
because you want to, not because you have to.
Right. Yeah, definitely look before you leap. And so I don't think it's ever too early to sit down. And I would definitely encourage everybody to do that.
Well, Simon, I can't believe we're almost to the end of another great show together, because they fly by every week, and I'm so looking forward to our time next week. So thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. To the viewers at home, thank you so much for spending time with us this week. We know you have a lot of questions on how to retire comfortably and with confidence. Simon has the answers for you. And again, the complimentary consultation is yours for picking up the phone, 877-441-4901. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We look forward to seeing you back next week.